Motion made by Jessica Browning. Is there a second?
Second.
Martha Leeper, call roll, please.
Hilbert.
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Wood.
Yes.
Browning.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes. All right, on to personnel. We need a motion to accept the resignation of Kara Berry as head middle school volleyball coach effective immediately.
So moved.
Motion made by Matt Wood. I'll second. Call roll, please.
Wood.
Yes.
Browning.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Hilbert.
Yes.
Leeper, yes.
Motion to accept the resignation of Aaron Hargrove as a high school color guard coach effective immediately.
So moved.
Motion made by Josh Hilbert. Is there a second?
Second.
Lori Campbell. Call roll, please.
Browning.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Hilbert.
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Wood.
Yes.
All right. Employments, I need a motion to employ Braden Summer as a volunteer assistant football coach, effective immediately.
So moved.
Motion made by Josh Hilbert. Is there a second?
Second.
Matt Wood, call roll, please.
Campbell.
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Hilbert.
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Wood.
Yes.
Browning.
Yes.
Trying to give Jeff a little credit here where credit is not due. Okay, consent agenda. Everyone received theirs in their packet. We need a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion made by Josh Hilbert. Is there a second?
Second.
Jessica Browning, call roll, please.
Guerrero.
Yes.
Hilbert.
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Wood.
Yes.
Browning.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
All right, superintendent's report.
Do you have anything for ISB report?
Only that continued trainings, I'm sorry, I skipped over that. Only that continued trainings are available online on ISB's site.
Okay.
Apparently they're on summer break. It was a very limited email.
Building reports, I didn't give you anything from the principals this month. They've not really been in. Transportation report you guys did receive, so if you have any questions on that, it was pretty brief this month. We'll get all those on the website. We have FOIA requests. I've shared that document with you. We had just some Macon Reporter stuff from Owen Wang about something we don't even have, so I won't get too far into that. Tentative budget, I went ahead and have presented you with a tentative budget for this year. I'm hoping that some of this stuff will change before we go ahead and adopt it in September, but I wanted to go ahead and get past our 30-day display. This will usually changes even in August some before we adopt it in September, and I'll keep you updated on it. Some of the biggest things right now is the uncertainty in revenue. Because we're being told, the state's going to leave a lot of our funding flat. Our CPPRT money that we get and has been considerable the last few years, we are told is going to stay flat. I'm hoping maybe we see a little bit of an increase, but I don't know if we will or not. I tried to be very conservative and really underestimate what I feel like the revenue is going to be. I did that in the sales tax especially. We got a pretty considerable amount this year, increase over last year, but then I came pretty low under that, just to not count on that money, because you just don't know with that. They think that sales tax, based on the things that I've set in with the state, is going to stagnate or stay more flat to what it was this year, so I didn't want to bank on that too hard. One of the biggest things is the transportation claim that they are projecting to really see a decrease with, because they're going to prorate it. I think an additional 6% for regular transportation, 8% decrease for special ed transportation, which has been a huge cost for us the last couple of years with special ed going to Taylorville and some of that into Decatur. So that's going to be a hard hit, I'm afraid. I'm hoping that things turn out better than that, but I'm not. They were already prorating us before, so we're looking at about getting into the 70% now as versus the 80s and 90s. So I don't know what will happen there. So we're going to try to do our best to really try to maximize our transportation claim and look at some other creative ways maybe to try to save some money in there. So you do see that we look at a projected deficit for just next year alone of about what I have here when I adjusted today was about $289,000. Again, hopefully our transportation claim comes in higher than I am projecting to offset that. I also may end up moving some of that sales or the CPPRT money into transportation to offset that. I'm utilizing most of that in Ed Fund to try to make the Ed Fund more whole. But if transportation continues to look at those deficits, these high leases, low prorations and stuff like that, that could be where we really have to focus our attention more because there is a higher balance, within the Ed Fund and within O&M as compared to transportation.
And you can move that CP, whatever, money
The
to
CPPRT,
anything or certain,
I can, except
funds.
for 3% of it must go to municipal retirement and Social Security
Okay.
per the statute. The rest of it can be allocated between funds, as we see fit. So that is a good thing with that, because we can't just put Fund 60 money into that to try to cover any of that. So we've got some wiggle room. I did make some adjustments and came out that tort was less of a shoestring there because of moving some of that money back into transportation with our insurance claims that have to be paid out of there in order to get transportation claims. So those are big things there. We'll also look for the Ed Fund probably next year. We're going to try to bid out, the commercial insurance next year, but also within the insurance bids we did this year with health insurance, we saw a lot of different options and maybe got some better ideas of some things we need to do moving forward in terms of benefits and things like that may give us a little bit of cost savings within that. But we'll have to wait and see there. It's a long time away before we get into next year. So one thing I put in here, and this is in preparation perhaps for a big building project for transportation, is I'm going to recommend maybe later on in the year moving about $525,000 from working cash into either Fund 60 or Fund 20 to cover the cost of that bus barn in doing that renovation. Some of this is going to rest on whether or not we see anything from insurance in terms of the damage that was done. At this point, I'm waiting on some other estimates to come in, but I don't know that we will reach the deductible based on the damage that was there. And so if that is the case, I would recommend that we move that there. Anything that we don't spend, then we can put back into investments or have it in that fund for other uses. But that will be something for a different time. We will have to take board action in order to abate that if that is the direction that we determine to go. But I would think that would be a better route for us to achieve what we need to do there, as opposed to exhausting so much of the capital fund right out of the gate. If we put it into capital, we build capital up, see where we get, and then hopefully sales tax money comes in higher, things like that. But that would give us a good cushion to be able to allow us to fund that project. And I'm still waiting to find more out about that, which I'll speak to in facilities update. I've heard a little bit back from the performance contractors that we've been speaking to. They've been kind of beating the street to get things organized and see what we're looking at with all that. It has been slow moving, and I don't know that we will get anything started garage-wise until even maybe the summer, depending on what the availability of the construction is and things like that. But I would first and foremost like to get some kind of a lean-to constructed out there with electrical to be able to start plugging the buses in before it gets cold, or at the time it gets cold. If they start moving a little quicker and we think that we can maybe get something done in a reasonable amount of time and without much disruption to the school day and the transportation day, then I would say that we can go ahead and start moving forward. But we've got a lot of work to do out there, and I just don't foresee that getting completely done during the school year. But if they can come in and start knocking some things down, that'd be great. But we got to tear one down and start putting one up, and there's got to be site work and things like that. I just don't know that that'll be feasible with a parking lot full of kids. So keep you updated on that as I get more information. The playground project over at the primary school is complete. It looks great. We also have some dirt work that we're going to kind of redistribute some of that dirt, and I'm going to get some new mulch for the rest of the playground. We are working on designs for the second phase, and hopefully we'll get some pricing and some ideas on that for you a little later on this year. But it will be slow going as well. Hopefully we get something figured out. All our classroom updates over at Iliopolis are pretty well done. We've got the painting done, we got the flooring done. Flooring is done in the new office. We'll have furniture install in the middle school and in the intermediate school on Monday. So we should have that part of that project done, which is going great, gonna look good. Stalker Flooring came in and finished the gym floors at all the schools. We've got to wait a little while longer for those to cure. We did have a snafu at Iliopolis where somebody walked through, but they have told us that they will come back and take care of that free of charge because accidents happen. And Steve Stalker is a great guy, and he has a great company, and he prides himself on making sure they make it right and they take care of their customers. So we appreciate that out of him. I know I had sent you guys some updates on the press box sound system that got installed by Corson Music out of Champaign. It sounds really great. I'm excited for football games and for some of the other things that we'll have going on, for everybody to be able to hear that. It'll be pretty tremendous. And also the other projects that we had going on with that has been completed. We have tuck pointing going over at the middle school, still on the oldest part of the building. That is going well. We have had some change orders there because some things were in worse shape than we thought. So we saw around a $20,000 increase with the change order based on more brick coming out than we were hoping. I guess the moisture has really attacked that. I don't know the last time any tuck pointing, if any tuck pointing has been done there. And it is close to a 100-year-old building. But they're doing an incredible job, reinforced the lintels, changed some lintels out, re-bricked all that. It's looking really good. And then we got into our change order, and then we had more damage that we had noted above where we had just done the work and just put in new lintels above those windows on the east and west elevations. And so that has driven the cost up based on the number of brick that we have to do, labor and things obviously like that. Now, the good news is we already have those workers there, so the mobility of that will be a cost savings for us, but we are looking at about a $49,000 increase. I spoke to the attorneys about it, as well as the architect, and we are clear to go on that. We'll have a special board meeting tomorrow. We will hopefully approve that so that we can finish that work up and then wash our hands of the tuck pointing there for now.
I didn't look at what you sent out. I'm sorry. The 20,000 is included in that 49, or are we talking
No, that
69,000?
was prior to that. So that increase was over that. And that was initially where Mr. Meadows and I, when we had discussed the project about getting it bid out, was where we had kind of projected we thought we would end up at, just based on the pricing and stuff that we had been seeing around. But when we saw the lower bid, he said, don't hold your breath, because he said every project like this I've ever done, we have seen more than we bargained for. When you go to take one brick out and 6 fall out in large chunks, then it's pretty bad. And I know that the workers had even said, when they got into it, like, they've seen some spots where the mortar is in pretty good shape, but the actual bricks themselves are failing. And when I got up on the lift and got looking, especially on the east side, was very bad, much worse than we had thought. And I had not been on a lift to look at it at first, as well as the caps on tops of the roof that are on the top of the wall. There's a lot of caulk gone from the seams there, and so that water is running into that and just trickling down. Within the lintels, we installed some weeping ropes and things like that to help drain some of that moisture out, hopefully. So if we get this done, it should be as good as new, or at least good enough to last us another fair amount of time. I don't know if about 100 years. Probably should have done it before 100 years, but if we could at least get 30 or 40, that would be optimal. So yeah, not what we want to do or hear, but we absolutely I think, need to do it, just to make sure that it's, that we're not throwing away money that we have already spent with repairs by damaging them. So
And how much longer do they think that'll take if we approve it?
they believe that they can get everything done before school starts. At least they can get all the grinding and the brickwork done, and then what they'll have left to do is the sealant. They'll do 2 coats of sealant over that, and some of that stuff that's not going to be loud. And they said they can also work around school hours too, if something happens, worst case scenario, like say the weather really turns bad for us. But they have actually said, Illiopolis is kind of crazy. It seems like rain just doesn't happen here, or it's a little bit of rain and then it goes away, at least when they have been working. So I don't know about all that, but if that'll hold out for us, that would be really good so that we can get everything wrapped up. I will have a parking lot project too to talk to you about here in a second, but I'll wait for new business for that.
Okay. So I don't have anything there to go on, so we just need to move on to new business, unless anybody has any questions. Okay.
Within new business, we have press policy update 112 or 118 adoption. We did that during the earlier meeting. We have a cross-country MOU here that we've discussed earlier this year with the creation of the new high school team, and then looking at adding in some stipends for those coaches. After working with the association, we felt like a 4% of base with those opportunities for experience bonuses for the 2 different positions would be a very fair percentage moving forward, given the number of meets they have. Mr. Fleming, I know, really broke that down and compared it to similar time commitments within other coaching opportunities, and I would recommend that you approve that this evening.
Okay. Do you want to do those individually or when we're all done?
I think we're into individual now.
Okay.
New business.
Yeah.
So motion to accept the cross-country memorandum of understanding with the SVEA as written.
So moved.
Motion made by Matt Wood. Is there a second?
Second.
Lori Campbell, call roll please.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Wood,
Yes.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
We received bids for parking lot repair. We had looked at asphalt before and decided that oil and chip would probably be a better bang for our buck. We had the bid open. We had 3 bidders, and our winning bid was with Dunn Company. And we did a base bid within this, working with the engineers, for a single layer of oil and chip to go on, along with repairs on the existing parking lot. That includes us doing the handicap stalls and doing those up to code that it is now with the painted lines and everything like that, right up next to the door, new signs. They will also sweep and clean, do all that. I've been working with the township and the village on getting the drainage right there and grading around the parking lot, because a lot of that standing water that we've seen has been from buildup, from snow plowing and things like that, that has just not been addressed over the years. And we got pretty good start on that, and I think we should get some of that finished up here before too long. They've been a lot of help in getting that squared away with us. The alternate bid also added in, the engineer recommended and thought that it would be best for us to do, if we're going to do the parking lot repair and do the oil and chip, he said, I really would do 2 coats of the oil and chip, make sure it lasts you for a good long time. Said you can get away with the base bid if you guys decide to do that. It is going to be more money, but that was his recommendation just based on the shape of it. So after they do the asphalt patches underneath, and doing oil and chip, doing a second coat of oil and chip, and then being good for there, and then he thinks that will be lasting, which I don't know the last time anything was seriously done to the parking lot out there. Certainly not since I've been around, which has been 13 years. So I know Mr. Meadows said he doesn't think anything had happened since he's been around, and that was a good 28 years. So I would recommend that you do the parking lot bid for $71,103 to take care of all that, and we can kind of set our sights elsewhere for the future.
Where's that stop? That doesn't go back around, right?
Does not go around to the back. It would go up to basically where the asphalt play area is at in the playground. But they are going to also take the millings and the remnants that they do when they make the repairs, and they're going to redeposit those there in that back, which will give us a little bit more. It's not too bad back there, but I said that'd be good if we can take that out there and then maybe redistribute that around and just build up on that a little bit more. But they said, you know, if we just haul those millings off, number one, we'll charge you for it, and number two, you could be utilizing those right back here, which I thought sounded great, so.
I don't have any problem with it. The only question I'm asking is, if we're sitting there with the tuck pointing project that's already gone up, what are we up to?
$69,000.
69 above. Do we go ahead and go for the 2 coats, or just do the 1 coat and that gives us, I don't know, some extra money there in case you hit another problem on your brickwork? Just thoughts. I'm not opposed either way. I'm just thinking, you know, if I've got 2 projects going at home, I might have to back off one if the other one looks like it might
And
get a little out of
what's the
control.
ability for them to come back? We budget for next year for them to do the second. I mean, how does that work? If they want to do it all one shot, is that what it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think you want to do it in one shot when they're here, and then they'll want to come back and probably seal coat like once, well, no, because we're not doing asphalt.
We're not doing asphalt, so there won't
So
be
they
any
don't have
seal
to do
coat.
that. I just think the second coat, I think you're going to be better off in the long run. You're going to get longer use out of it, you're going to get more for your money, you know, that kind of thing. If you feel comfortable spending the money out of that, then I think that's the way to go, just to make sure that it's done right, so they say. And that was the engineer, it wasn't Dunn Company telling you that,
No,
right?
no.
Okay, I feel better about that too.
And too, the engineer said, he goes, he says, the 1 coat, he says, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It will. He goes, but the 2 coats is going to last much longer.
Just if
So-
it was like my driveway, 1 coat, I mean, there's very, you know, a little,
Sure.
we've needed, yeah, we've needed it oiled and chipped since
Yeah.
we moved there in '08, but we don't have that much traffic on it. But when you're talking about a school, I feel like, I don't know, like I said, if you feel like you have the money within that budget to, what's the difference? 15,000?
16,103.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I get your point. I think that, I mean, if we needed to save, if you didn't feel comfortable spending it,
And that's why I wanted to bring it up for discussion too and say, hey, these are the 2. And that's why we put it in there as an alternate, so that it would be, we have choices, you know, and have options, but.
On the tuck pointing, or are they at a point,
where there's not going to be any more
I
surprises.
mean, you know, to where they can comfortably say there's probably not going to be anything else?
That's what we said today when we left it on the phone today after another discussion. It said, I can't foresee from what I can tell and what I am seeing getting in there where they're at, because they have already been into that brick that they're looking at. Just didn't go any further until they had confirmation on what we wanted to do, that there will be no more issue. He felt confident in that. From what the architect told me as well, she said when she looked things over, she goes, that's what I would think would be reasonable based on the number of bricks and things that they've quoted. So,
I know we've approved Dunn Company in years past, and I don't know if it was middle school. I know they did work out here. Do you know what they did? Was it just rock? Was it just grading?
out here,
Uh-huh.
I believe they did some asphalt out here, they did some oil and chip out here.
Do you know if it oil and chip was 2 coats at that time?
I do not know about that.
Okay.
But
I just
it's,
wonder how was
it's
that
almost
wearing?
in need of
Yeah.
getting something done. We've got a couple spots that could use some attention. The spots where there's asphalt will need to be sealed for sure, because it's not been sealed since it was done. And I don't know how much they did with the oil chip, and actually I don't know that they did the oil and chip when they did that. I'd have to look back at that. But I do remember when they came, because Bob had that done.
Yeah, I just remember the name. I just remember Dunn being here, but I don't recall the circumstance or what we did, so.
Mhm.
All right, well, anybody have any other questions, comments, thoughts? Well, do we have a motion to award the bid for the Illiopolis campus parking lot repair to Dunn Company for a cost not to exceed $71,103?
So moved.
Motion made by Josh Hilbert. Is there a second?
Second.
Lori Campbell. Call roll, please.
Wood,
Yes.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes.
Next up, I presented the tentative budget to you in the superintendent's report. I'd ask that you make a motion to approve that for the 25-26 school year.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Matt Wood. I'll second. Call roll, please.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Wood.
Yes.
With that, we have to do the hearing to adopt the official budget, and that needs to go down in September. So we'll have that at before the regular meeting at 6 o'clock. We'll have this on display. Until then, I will continue to make tweaks as I get more information from the state and the federal government, if I get more information from them, and then we will move on from there. So I'd ask that you set that hearing for September 17th.
Do I have a motion to set the budget hearing for September 17th, 2025 at 6 p.m.? Motion made by Jessica Browning. Is there a second?
Second.
Josh Hilbert. Call roll, please.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Wood,
Yes.
Browning.
Yes.
Per usual this time of year, it is our consideration on the status of the closed session minutes from January 2025 through June 2025 as permitted by law. I recommend you keep them closed.
Okay, so motion to keep closed session minutes closed from January 25th through January 2025 through June 2025.
So,
Lori Campbell?
yeah, I'll second.
Seconded by Martha Leeper. Call roll, please.
Guerrero,
Yes.
Hilbert, Leeper, yes. Wood,
Yes.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Okay, cross-country team has shown interest in competing in a meet in Terre Haute, Indiana. Mr. Fleming is also passing his recommendation on this, and it's on October 3rd and 4th, 2025. We think it's only going to be one day that they have to go, but we have to approve through board action anything that goes over state lines or a certain mile marker. So since this is over state lines, we need your approval in order for them to compete in this meet.
This just be a voice vote on this.
Well, are we spending money on
Are we-
transportation?
We will spend money in transportation, so.
And I don't know, do we have to pay to participate?
Yes, I'm sure there will be entry fees as there typically is with any meets and stuff.
So, I guess doing my due diligence, do we have any idea where that will run as far as cost-wise?
The costs for the entry fees, Mr. Fleming said would be very minimal. They're just pretty typical with what we usually see. And then the transportation is, what it would be to drive to Terre Haute and back.
Okay. So motion to allow the cross-country team to compete in a meet in Terre Haute, Indiana on October 3rd or 4th, 2025.
Is this the high school team?
I
We just have
am,
one
I think it
at this
is, I
point,
think
or
it is both.
Middle school and high school?
I believe so.
So to allow the middle school and high school cross-country teams
Yeah.
to compete in a
Okay.
meet. Okay, do I have a motion?
Is it 2 day? Lodging on their own, how's that?
No, I believe they only go one day. It's just over 2 days that the meet is going on, but there won't be any lodging or anything like that. If they go, they'll come back if there was a 2-day thing. That's just, I don't know what day they will compete, but it'll be over the course of those 2 days. I'm not sure if that full schedule is set yet.
Okay, do I have a motion? Motion made by Jessica Browning, is there a second?
So moved. Or second.
Seconded by Mr. Wood, call roll please.
Hilbert,
Yes.
Leeper, yes. Wood,
Yes.
Browning,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Guerrero.
Yes.
We have the old International tractor, which is down in the bus barn, taking up space. It had formerly been in the bus barn at Illiopolis. I believe it was purchased and at Illiopolis back in the day, and it was brought over here at some point, and we had bought some parts to maybe try to get it running again. What I'm finding is we're trying to get things figured out for a bus barn and stuff of that nature, and it's just kind of in the way. Nobody's working on it. Ag doesn't really want anything to do with it. So I want to put an option out there for sealed bids to get the tractor, get the parts, and send that to a new home. I'm not sure what these tractors are really worth. I was looking at putting a minimum bid on it of about $1,000, just based on what I could find from different websites and stuff that do sell old farm implements. I don't know if you guys think that's too high, too low, but it looked to me like to be a pretty fair price. I said if nobody puts a bid on it, then we'll figure something else out maybe later on. But I thought that was maybe a good starting point, and also based on some stuff I'd heard from others. I was hoping Jeff would be here. I figured he'd maybe be an expert on tractors, but
I would defer to Jeff on the starting price, because he's all up on those kind of things.
But if you guys allow me to do that, I will figure out what we need to do on that side of things. And it's not in great shape right now, but I think it could be restored and be pretty cool. It's a pretty cool old piece. It was in 1961, based on the serial number that I found on it. And we've already bought some parts, some tires, carburetor, stuff like that for it. So be a good project for somebody, just not for us.
All right, so motion to approve selling the old International tractor through a sealed bid process.
So moved.
Motion made by Matt Wood. Is there a second?
Second.
Lori Campbell. I think here we can do an all in favor.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
All right, the Sentinel subscription, we need to table that for later on.
Okay.
And then
Is there a reason?
we don't have a renewal right
Oh,
now.
the
And I
cost.
spoke to Cindy today, so we're just going to table that, and
Okay.
we'll revisit that later on. We have a proposal last board meeting from the Sangamon Valley Youth League. They came last month and asked for your help in supplying new jerseys or uniforms for the players. And so then you have the opportunity tonight to discuss that and determine, oh, I'm sorry, I jumped over something right there because I didn't have a motion on it. And that was Josh had approached me about the possibility of us discussing the discontinuation of 8th grade promotion, and just wanted to kind of get your thoughts on that. I had shared a document with you. Mr. Downing had said that he and his leadership team, have discussed it, and they would potentially be in favor of that, and maybe looking at some other things to do in lieu of that for other uses of that money. To make things special for the 8th graders going out before they go to high school. So I'll let you guys speak and discuss any thoughts you may have.
I think maybe I can start too. So
Sure.
through a number of just conversations and then looking at the surrounding districts, it's something that I think most have started shifting away from, as well as just, for me, it's lacking the importance of a high school graduation, right? It's not an optional thing to graduate 8th grade or promote through 8th grade. So to that point, it's trying to get away from that formal ceremony and then looking to do something similar to what Mr. Downing has presented, or even, I think every sports team's doing some kind of a recognition night as well. Is can we consolidate everything into one night to try to not have the monotony of events occurring and the same people coming back. And
I think an awards night, we tried to do this many years ago, and it didn't fly. I can't remember, I don't remember the specifics, but I know we stuck with the 8th grade promotion, which I've always said I'm in the same agreement. I think you're going to go through 8th grade and you go on to high school, and it's not a graduation, so I don't know that it's necessary. But I think, I don't know about mixing the sports things with everything. I guess that would be coach-wise and doing that. But I think an awards night, like we do at the high school, and having something that the parents can attend and just, say, yep, you're moving on to 8th grade, I think that seems very reasonable to me. I don't have a problem with doing away with it at all.
I wonder if it harkens back to a time when lots of people didn't go to school past 8th grade, which is a very long time ago.
Could be, yeah. And there, like you said, very few, I mean, they don't even have, my granddaughter's high school awards thing is in the middle of the afternoon, and if you can come at 2 o'clock and view it, great for you, and if you can't, you don't even get to take part in that. So I think that a lot of schools are pushing away from, like you said, doing any of that, so.
I think for me, my motion would be is we just discontinue a grade promotion.
Mhm.
If there is something that comes along after that,
That's up to, yeah.
great, let's discuss it, figure out the details when we have more
Mhm.
data and facts, but
Are we gonna start a domino effect? I mean, if we're gonna do away with 8th grade promotion, are we gonna do away with kindergarten or pre-K graduation and all that? I mean,
I'm okay with that too.
I'm still old fashioned. I'm
I don't
just
think
saying,
that's
me
really
personally,
necessary
I'm
at
still
all.
old fashioned. Just gonna put my opinion out there, 'cause I'm old fashioned and I don't disagree with what you're saying, but it's still a stepping stone for some people. I know it is a formality at this point in time. I mean, if it goes one way or the other, it is what it is. I still think it's a stepping stone for some people, to that extent. I mean, you're going on to high school. High school is not junior high, it's not grade school.
I think there needs to still be an acknowledgement. I just don't know that it needs to be a graduation ceremony, like in the respect that we do it right now. Because like, I don't think anybody, I think we may be the last holdouts of an 8th grade thing
What Mr.
here.
Downing had kind of proposed was having something with the students all
Right.
there and the family attending and.
Yes, like an awards night or a
awards night
something.
That would, I mean,
Yeah.
more, maybe more, a little more, I don't know, formal's right.
Mhm.
I mean, at the high school, it's, all the kids aren't there.
Yeah.
It's, kind of just the ones that are involved in a lot of things and potentially maybe getting an award that kind of the awards night. But
Mhm.
the way I read Mr. Downing's proposal was that like all the students would be there and
Mhm.
his family could come and just not quite as formal as what we're currently doing
Mhm. For 8th grade.
in eighth grade.
Mhm.
Right.
Yes.
But it's not gonna be like she's talking about though. You start playing it during the daytime.
No,
That
I
becomes an
mean,
issue. Well, I mean, but if we're talking about all the kids will be there. I don't know. I see both sides of it. My opinion is I still like, I like the formal situation.
I didn't think he was doing a daytime thing though. Did you? I thought he would still do an
He
evening,
had a lot of
like
different
awards.
ideas,
Okay.
like some different, they've batted some things around. They haven't got too deep into the weeds, I don't think, because they want to see what everybody's thoughts are and where they stand before they start planning too much, because they don't want to get the cart before the horse, but.
I don't have a problem changing it up. I would like to see us do something.
Mhm.
I'm in kind of agreement with Matt, it is a stepping stone for a lot of kids and.
But it shouldn't be the last stepping stone. You're
Not
not
the
done.
last,
I mean,
not the
I
last. It's
moved
just-
from the primary building to the intermediate building. We don't do something special. I moved from 8th grade over here. I don't necessarily, I mean, it has evolved into something, when I go and hand out diplomas and stuff, it's just, I sit there and I think, this is a whole lot for something you're not done with yet.
Yeah.
You've still got 4 more years. And I think
I feel like
can
it's,
kind of take the glow off
I think changing
the high
that's a good
school
idea.
Yeah.
But I just
promotion and
don't,
graduation.
I don't like the idea of doing away with it.
I think there should still be an evening or something within the school that parents can come to. We don't need, like right now, it's, your whole family comes, all 26 members of your family that live anywhere locally come to 8th grade graduation or whatever. Ours didn't, ours don't live locally, you know what I mean? Like, so, but I think having something that parents can attend at night and celebrating them in some way, distinguishing that, yes, you have completed this task, you're moving on. I can see that happen, and maybe mixing it with an awards. I don't know what they do. Don't get me started on awards, because I'm still ticked off that not every teacher in the high school gives out awards, but.
I personally, I mean, we can discuss something in the future. I'm just saying I would like to do away with the promotion.
Mhm.
Do they don't do any kind of 8th grade trip?
There's a SWAT trip, or there used to be a SWAT trip but I don't know that,
They go to the Capitol every year, and then I think they go to the Abraham Lincoln Library there in Springfield. They do kind of a day trip thing.
Nothing.
Did you see my eye roll from over there? Sorry.
So,
That was very educational. Back in the day, they used to, like, when my oldest graduated, 8th grade trip was like, they did a ski trip, or they did an actual trip. It was still a day trip. Nobody stayed all night anywhere or did anything like that, but they did an actual Six Flags. I think it was Six Flags that they did. But again, then you're looking to parents to pony up money for those things and, you know, that kind of thing. But I do like his idea of putting an 8th grade trip back on the table, obviously, for those that have to qualify. I think there's, I guess I question how it all plays out. You know, I think I'm in agreement with, I think there needs to be an acknowledgement. I think parents need to have the ability. I don't know that it needs to be a graduation ceremony with, like we do here at the high school.
Sure.
So, and I don't know how you go about, I do like the idea of, like, incoming 6th graders know it's going to end and you're not going to have that. This will be the last. But regardless, they're going to go to 8th grade graduation and see that they're not going to get one of those, so.
I personally would say just this year we're done.
Me
Like,
too.
I would rather come up with a new plan before we say we're getting rid of what we currently have.
Mhm.
I don't know that that's board business, if you ask me. I
It's-
think
it's
board
not really. That's
business
why I put it
is
on for discussion.
Making the
Yeah.
decision about the promotion, period.
Yeah.
And then you hand it off to your administration to figure out what's gonna go from there,
Yeah.
personally. Because I think we're micromanaging too much. That's not us.
yeah.
Well, so we've discussed, so when
I mean,
we,
and let me back up. If you want to say, you know, we make this decision so you can tell the 6th graders, when it gets to you, this is not going to happen.
Mhm.
So then, in theory, you've got 2 years to figure out what you're going to do. And you can direct your administrative team to bring you, you know, a couple proposals or we can give feedback to them, but I honestly think all this is what we're supposed to be messing.
you know,
I
Sure.
agree, and I would not defer 2 years. Just, we have to approve and set dates and do everything, and we just don't this year.
well, I think we need to put it on the agenda for next month, and I think the principals need to be here, and we need to have that vote next month and go from there, right?
As me personally, I just like to see a small outline, something boxed of what their plan is. If they can come up with something generic, I don't even care if it's not the whole full detail. I would just like to know before we vote on it myself, if possible.
Did you look at the document he sent?
I saw John, but I understand that, but I mean, okay, I got the generic side of it. I guess for me, I guess it's a little bit more in depth. It's like, are we going to do an awards / congratulations, you graduated 8th grade? Is it going to be an evening? Is this playing during the day? You know, that's just what I'm looking at. That's all I'm asking.
But
Something simple, a little bit more in depth, I guess.
maybe to help me try to understand where you're coming from, why is 8th grade different than 7th grade?
Because you got to take the constitutional test to get into high school. I'm not the state government. I can't answer that question. And I'm old, like I said, I'm old school, so I'm going.
8th grade. I guess that's what I'm saying is.
I'm-
For junior high and high school.
I'm old school, so I'm looking at the fact that I understand not everything's going to be the same from in the future. I get it. There's going to be changes. I'd like to see us still do something. So just give me a little bit of an outline of what we're thinking. I know what we got from him already, yes, but I'd like to know if it's going to be daytime, evening. Is some family going to be able to attend? You're still going to have questions from the community. And as a school board member and as a school district, I'd like to be able to answer to the extent that I can.
I think that's where the questions will lie, is
Yeah.
if parents will be upset if they're not able to, or that they have to take time off of work if it's going to be a daytime function. I think everybody, I mean, in my mind, the majority is going to be okay with changing it and not making the graduation ceremony, but they're going to want to be able to attend
Not everybody has to
something
run
that
out and
is,
grab a dress and grab
happens.
a suit or whatever they do nowadays.
Yeah.
But it's going to be informal, but give us an outline of what, a little bit in depth of what you're thinking.
I guess to me, we're conflating the two together. Like, so am I understanding that you're saying I would not want to get away from 8th grade promotion if we're not having something else?
That's my feeling at this time.
To the extent, yeah, that's where I'm at too.
Okay.
I just like to see something, a little bit more information. To me, I mean, we're sitting here in June, we still have time to make that vote. I understand your consideration of one that just.
It's July.
Whatever month it is. Right, because I glanced down to June 2025 on the screen when it said that, but we got some time to make that discussion, make that vote. And I mean, clearly the school year has started, so I mean, if they get a couple months to kind of figure something out for us, I don't know how much that takes to plan on their end of it, administration-wise. But
I just think as a board, and that's where we ran into before, everybody wanted to discontinue it, and they didn't have a plan for what are you going to do then, and acknowledge it in some shape or form. And I think everybody then, I mean, I don't remember, you'd have to go back and look, but very few of us voted to discontinue it because of people not happy that they didn't get to go
Okay,
to a graduation.
We're not voting tonight anyway.
No,
Right.
it's just discussion.
So who can we task with? I'm hearing that we're like the last school that still has this. How about a spreadsheet that shows what the other schools do in place of a formal ceremony?
Okay. It's about, I haven't looked at the numbers lately, but I did poll some people when Josh first sent me on theirs. It's probably about 50-50, maybe
Okay.
60-40 on in line of doing away with it. And a lot of other people are discussing it and have been discussing it for some time. So
So maybe we hear
maybe
some
see what
other
they do
good
instead
ideas.
in place of that.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be, I don't know, a lot. We just need to, I'm on board with discontinuation as long as there's some type of recognition somewhere. Yeah.
Something in place. I would like to know what the idea is
Yeah.
all.
Okay, so we will put it on the agenda for next month. Obviously, principals will be back and be able, or Mr. Downing at least, I guess we don't need the other principals' opinions, but Mr. Downing's thoughts and what he plans to do to move forward will help. Okay, so we tabled that. Now we're on to funding for Youth League New Jerseys.
Okay, as I was saying before, I skipped over the last agenda item. You heard the discussion. They want to know about whether or not we will vote to fund some new basketball jerseys, uniforms in support of the SVYL, and so it is up to you to
I wasn't here last time.
discuss.
So did they ask us to pay for them outright?
Um,
Or partially?
They just want a
Or
donation.
A donation.
Donation.
So I'm going to go with, I'm not in agreement with uniforms. I think that we do need to keep our facilities to where these youth leagues can use them. We do upgrades, we approve the stuff that they want to do to upgrade, but if you start giving money towards outfits, then every single thing, I mean, we already pay a lot of money out for uniforms for the students that are in school, and we rotate them on a regular basis and that type of thing. I think there's fundraisers that they could potentially have. They did say they went to Sports Boosters. I believe you guys gave them, and that's what we used to do in the past, to help out where we can. They can have fundraisers. They don't have to have full uniforms. They can do shorts and a tank or whatever. They were talking, full uniforms. They can reuse uniforms, which I think they do. I just think if we get into the business of youth league uniforms, it's going to be never ending, and I don't know that that's where we're supposed to be as a board in spending district funds, basically. Other than, like I said, on facilities and stuff for them to be able to have safe places to play. Okay,
I
done.
don't know about JFL, they purchase their own, but I mean, for baseball and softball, they purchase their own uniforms.
Mhm.
I'm not quite sure what JFL, if they reuse or.
I think JFL reuses, because I think Sports Boosters,
Yeah,
we've
it's
given
except for the 8th grade.
donations to them before
Because they
too.
get their names printed off
Okay.
way through. So
So, I mean, I think that, you know, all those
Mhm.
organizations handle it themselves.
Yeah. And if they purchase their own, then they can wear their own and keep it. And if they do a certain shirt or whatever we used to do for athletic association, we reused those a couple years in a row. You got them, but your coaches all got them back at the end and you handed them out the next year and they made, and I'm sure that's what they're doing because she said some of them were in fairly bad repair. But also, how many did she say? 60 some odd or something. It was a lot. So that they wanted extras for kids that may not fit in certain sizes. But you can also rotate that. You can start with 20 new uniforms this year and 20 next year. And, you know, I just think there's ways to do it that, and maybe we're not the right place to start paying for uniforms for youth league. But open to other suggestions, comments, questions.
Agree.
Anybody else? Okay. And I think, I guess maybe that she said that obviously she was new to the program and hadn't done that before. So if she is, I don't know, when you reach out to her or whatever, if this doesn't pass, if she wants suggestions and that kind of thing, definitely tell her to come looking because we've all been involved in youth sports for 600 years. So, okay, it feels like it. But anyway, so do I have a motion to approve a donation funding SVYL for new jerseys as requested? Question, Sangamon Valley Youth League, basketball, Sangamon Valley Youth League baseball, separate?
I believe so, yes.
That confuses me a little bit, but,
They're each entities on their own. There's been comments made to several people about,
Why don't you all get
you know,
together?
like the opposite athletic, you know, making one thing up, but it's still separate.
I always thought it was, Sangamon Valley Youth League encompassed all of that, but no,
Nope,
okay.
Separate organizations for each of them.
Sorry. Just seems like it would be simpler to keep everybody in just one group, but one board or whatever. So motion to approve a donation funding SV Youth League for new jerseys as requested.
Oh, wait, and this was just basketball, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So basketball jerseys. So no motion. Motion fails. All right. Was that our last item?
That was it.
This is a record. All right, next regularly scheduled meeting is for August 20th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Before we adjourn, we're going to have the promotion on it. Is there anything else from this meeting that we're carrying? Oh, I know, I had,
Sentinel Fest.
yeah, the Sentinel will come over. On the building, we kind of briefly touched on that. We have nothing yet bid-wise as far as getting that building going out there?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. So the goal then that you're going forward with is just to try to get at least the lean-to. I don't know what else to call it. It's not a lean-to, but
Yeah, if I can at least get that done before it turns off cold, that will be my major target right now, because
Okay.
I just need to have something that is going to keep those buses warm at this point.
and that going through a bid process or through that group?
Hopefully, we will be going through the performance contractor
Okay.
for that.
Okay. And then I know you were, sorry you guys, I know everyone wants to go home, but I know you were having some NG issues. Did we ever contact them with how many issues we've had with some of their work?
I have been in contact with them and still in discussions with them just
Okay.
about some of the things that we've seen and what we've done. We're working with, Intech's going to actually come in and try to reset some of those units and see if they can get the clocks figured out on them. They do have the software, which Trane has been very proprietary in terms of their stuff, and they've not been much help, but everybody kind of passes the buck on to the other person, it seems like so far, you know.
Who did our train installs?
Trane, I believe, and then maybe King Lar was involved in that.
Okay,
as
because
well.
Tyke is like the dealer out of Decatur that does train. I think they're like the only ones in Decatur that's like a train dealer, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, okay, I just thought that was a lot of money we put forth on some of that to be spending so much money on repairing it already,
Yeah.
so.
I don't think that we're the only district that's had problem with NG installs.
Yeah.
I think Riverton has too.
They've told me they've not really had too much
No.
issue. I think our biggest thing is the controls piece, and we have some concerns about some of the units being oversized for what they are cooling. But again, you know, for one person that you know says that, you've got another engineer that tells you, well, you're not dealing with 25 kids in a room, you know, with having to pump open air into it and this, that, and the other. So it's kind of like one to another. So I don't really know what recourse we have. NG has been pretty good about working with us and talking to us. I don't know, you know, if we'll get any recoup from that. They've at least shared some of the insights that they have into it. But I said, I just don't understand why we didn't have any controls. And they said, well, it was a cost-saving measure. So they kind of tried to push it back to the board, you know, as far as why certain things weren't added or could have been added.
I don't
And it
think
said,
we.
well, I think if we would know that the thermostats that are installed wouldn't be connected to the units and wouldn't be working, that we would want some kind of control to control those.
Right, I think we would have not
So-
offered or accepted that as an option.
I'm
but-
going to discuss with him maybe what is something they could maybe help out with. I don't know how far I will get, but.
I have my paperwork, I found that on all those contracts the other day, so it made me think of that, but, anyway, at this time, we need a motion to adjourn. Motion made by Josh Hulbert, is there a second?
Second.
Matt Wood, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
7:04.
The clock's almost.